Welcome to the Near Memo, a weekly conversation about search, social, and commerce. What happened, why it matters, and the implications for local.
Welcome back, everybody, to Near Memo episode 56.
And it's actually 56 this time.
Well, I think we're generally accurate. Welcome back. We're
broadly accurate.
Broadly accurate. Directionally accurate. We're excited to welcome you back with me, Mike, and David to talk about what happened this week in search, social, and commerce with a kind of local inflection or flavor or hint of local or whatever you want to say. And we're going to jump right in with me today, leading off with Google's smaller stores filter, which I don't recall how long it's been around, but there was some discussion of it this week. In Google Shopping, it's not on the SERP, but you click into Google Shopping and then it's one of a number of filters that are available to you to find smaller stores selling the desired item, whatever that is, shoes, sports equipment, etc. And David is a big user of Google Shopping, a big proponent of Google Shopping.
I am. I'm guilty as charged. I found myself using Google Shopping, I would say, at least as much as I use Google regular search when I'm looking for products. I think it's a really terrific interface. I think that this is a really useful and sort of societally beneficial innovation on their part. And I think that if you are skeptical of, or if your perception of Google Shopping is from the frugal days in the late aughts, the product has come a long way. I thought it worked very well for a handful of, I would say, extremely long tail searches across a number of different markets: electronics, home appliances, recreation, furniture. I've used it extensively in the last couple of years, and it's come a long way. I think it's really useful, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see more and more shopping results pulled into the organic results, as our friend Andy Crestodina from Orbit Media highlighted in a post earlier this week.
We'd like to thank our initial sponsor, Google Shopping.
No,
I'm kidding.
I mean, given the number of complaints that we've made against Google over the course of the podcast, we have to be fair and balanced.
Don't use that phrase. It's important to point out when they're doing some good stuff, and I think this is a good thing. The challenge is they also have a nearby filter, which presumably is real-time inventory, and you can't use the two of them to get small business real-time inventory. So currently the small stores filter is purely e-commerce, which is great. It's great that it exists, but I would like to see it expanded to include local businesses that don't have a big e-commerce presence, which is a big challenge, of course. That's why Google bought Pointy, the kind of very elegant way of getting small business inventory online. But this is a kind of a long-term problem. Now, hopefully Google will, people have expressed repeatedly a desire to shop with small businesses, and there really isn't a great way to do that online. You can't really find small businesses easily online unless you've got Etsy or something, I suppose. But for the most part, it's a challenge. This makes it easier. The question in my mind is whether Google is going to invest in this and try and build this out, or is it just some perfunctory thing that they're testing and they're going to, let it languish as they do so many things.
Or the cynics might say, is it a reaction to the antitrust AstroTurf email campaign that they've been running? So
there's a post in the can that hasn't been published yet, though, that shows how they're now integrating real-time inventory into the 3-pack. And I believe that if they do that, then there's this sort of chicken and egg problem is solved, and even businesses that are currently not doing inventory online will switch to something like Shopify that will allow them to integrate in real time, because the benefits seem to me real and significant. So they are obviously moving forward in pushing inventory to the front page and making it accessible to more and more businesses, particularly with their integrations with Woo and Shopify, et cetera. And I think that when you finally publish that article I sent you, I don't know when.
I'd like a little bit more.
Wow, public shaming on the podcast, Mike. Come on.
You'll see another example of this where they're encouraging smaller local inventory-based businesses to participate in the process. So we'll see.
And just to point out before we segue into your item, Mike, this is not online inventory, e-commerce, but local inventory, real-time pickup in store, pickup curbside, has been one of their key pillars in trying to combat Amazon's e-commerce lead and traffic lead for product search, which thus far does not seem to be bearing a lot of fruit. I mean, I think it's a smart strategy, and definitely I value it, but it doesn't seem to have moved the needle so far.
Well, I think you'll find that it has to be both online and in store.
Yeah, that's what they're doing,
real-time,
obviously.
right? That's how it's going to work.
Yeah.
So
yeah, years and years and years and years ago, I mean, I don't know even how long it is. It's at least a decade. Gannett's Shop Local was one of many shopping engines at the time that was trying to do that strategy. They were trying to be the sort of one-stop shop, as they say, for e-commerce and local inventory. And it was always a good strategy, but Gannett they were never able to market it effectively, or I don't know, get enough inventory or something, but it failed, obviously. And then it became an ad network, and now it's gone, I believe. I don't know if the URL still exists, but it doesn't matter because we need to move on.
Thanks for joining David, Mike, and Greg. To stay on top of the latest developments in local, subscribe to our newsletter at nearmedia.co. We'll see you next week.